All right, guys. I think that we're actually live, but per usual, if this is your first time watching live, I'm going to just kind of chatter on for a little bit just to make sure that there's no hiccups in the broadcast, that I'm not just getting, choppy footage or anything like that while we kind of boot up here for our very exciting Monday broadcast of the online video program here. If anybody cannot hear me, let me just make sure. Yeah, I just want to make sure that my microphone is not on mute or anything like that. So hopefully you guys can hear me all right. If anybody is listening live and you cannot hear me, just let me know. So that way the broadcast is not half an hour of just body language from me, just being awkward. So, all right, guys. So I had a couple of ideas in mind for today. They're going to be behaviors that are going to be a little bit different. They might be ones that you guys don't really care about the first one, but really care about the second one. And they are, I don't know, just two really cute behaviors that I enjoy doing with my dog, so that it's just something new that you can show people. Barbecues, family gatherings, things that we're not doing right now, but we'll hopefully be back into it by the time summertime rolls around. So the first behavior that I'm going to be covering, some people call it dance, stand, be a human. I will clue you in as to what I call it in just a minute here. But it is where we get our dogs to stand up on their back two legs, fully standing up. This isn't like a beg or a sit pretty. I will demo those the second half of the video, but that standing up on their hind legs position, that can be hard for some dogs. It can be easier for others. It could just depend on the breed, depend on, the individual dog's ability and things like that. But this can help get your dog to kind of think outside the box. Understand that when you're luring them, that no matter where the lure is, they should pursue it. They shouldn't really second guess you. They should be following it, because following it gets them rewarded, gets them, working with you and working for you, and it can be really dynamic and exciting. So I'm going to call this behavior dance for right now. Let me kind of just get my chair out of the way here, give you guys kind of the most amount of space that we can have here. So for me, when I am luring this dance behavior, I want my dog to stand up on their back two legs, but I don't want them touching me in any way. Please keep in mind that when you see Theo doing this behavior, he's going to be doing it correctly, because this is a behavior that he already knows. My dog Olive, who I will show you guys a little bit later on, I'll kind of switch out and show you with her. She's not perfect with it yet. And so she's going to try to kind of touch me, balance on me. That's okay. When you're first doing this behavior, you're not going to want them to touch you. You're just going to want them to kind of follow the lure, encourage them with ooey gooey lovey-dovey baby talk to pursue that lure. And when they do, eventually maybe just kind of have your arm out like this, so that they need to balance on you, they can. But until they kind of build up that core strength there. And then once they've got it, then you should be good, and you should be able to kind of retract your arm back a little bit there. Theo, come here. So what you're going to want to do in the very beginning is, a lot of dogs are going to do like Theo just did, and they're going to sit, because that's kind of their default say please, check-in behavior. They know that they've gotten rewards for sits in the past. So what I'm going to do with my piece of food is I'm going to hold it pretty high up over my dog's head. If high up doesn't work, then get a little bit lower. But what I want to do is, hey, Theo, can you get it? Get it, baby boy. Get it. Yes. Good boy. And when he stands up or even jumps up to get it, in the beginning, mark and reward that. You can shape it and finesse it later. So if they jump up, mark and reward at first. If they stand up, especially, kind of mark and reward. Let me see if I can get Theo in a better position so you guys can see him. Theo, get it. Yes. Good boy. So again, he already knows this behavior. So he's standing up. He's got kind of, his paws up a little bit here. But I'm just going to use ooey gooey, lovey-dovey baby talk and encourage him to get it. Come on, Theo. Can you get it? Yes. Good boy. So he's standing up nicely. Again, for some dogs, you might have to be like, it's right here. It's right here. Yeah, good boy. And if they at least just kind of get their paws up off the ground, mark and reward that. And like I said, eventually when you're kind of getting them up here, they might be a little bit top heavy. So you might have to, come on, Theo, get it. Come on. Come on, Theo, come on, get it. Yes, good boy. So they might have to stand on you to balance. Theo's getting a little bit confused. He's like, Mom, I already know this. Why are you adding any unnecessary drama there? But when you first are luring them up onto those hind legs, they might kind of jump up at first. Then don't mark and reward for the jumping. So at first, if they jump up, mark and reward. Then you want to be instead of like a jump, more of like a stand up on those hind legs. And then if you need to kind of put that arm out, they can kind of balance on it. Eventually what you want is for them to just stand on their hind legs and balance on their own. Some people call this stand. They call it be a human, dance. One of my students calls it jazz hands with her dog. With Theo, I call it fight. And I ask him if he wants to. Theo, you want to fight? No, that's not fight. Now you're just confused. Theo, you want to fight? Yes, good boy. So for me, if I ask him if he wants to fight, he kind of, stands up and puts his little paws up in this like, yeah, Mama, let's go. Let's fight. You want to fight? Yes, good boy. So you guys see, I am marking him the moment that he has accomplished the correct behavior. The moment he's standing up on those hind legs, he is in a fully stood up position. He's got his paws up. He's got his dukes up. He's ready to go. Fifi, you want to fight? You want to fight? Yes. Good boy. So ignore what you don't like, reward what you do. So again, for this one of my students calls it jazz hands because their poodle, when he was standing up, he was kind of all over the place with his paws out. So they call that jazz hands. You can call it dance. I call it fight. You can call it whatever you want, but Theo was a very good demo dog for that, amidst all the confusion, because of course he already knows this behavior and I was confusing him a little bit by doing some weird lures that we hadn't exactly done in a while. So if those of you who are watching live have any questions, I'm going to pause for just about like 30 seconds to a minute, give you guys a chance to ask any questions that you have, especially if you're watching live and luring your dog, kind of attempting to get the same behavior. Then I'll grab Olive so you guys can see the difference between Olive and Theo. All right, guys, if you have any questions, keep typing. I'm going to go grab Olive. All right. Olive. Come here, baby girl. No, Theo, I'm sorry. All right, guys. So this is my dog, Olive. I don't think I've used her for a video yet with you guys, so you might not have seen her. She is my second adopted dog. Pork Chop was my first. Olive was my second, and then Theo was my third dog as an adult. She came from Durham APS, and she had a family that absolutely loved her, I'm sure. She was an owner surrender at about 4.5 years old, and then she ended up going home with us. So kind of same thing, same demo with you guys. I want to show you the differences between a dog who knows the behavior and a dog who does not know the behavior. So all right, Olive. So I'm going to get her kind of in the same position here. Good girl. I just want to reward her for checking in with me. Same kind of lure, though. Olive, come on. Yes, good girl. So you see she jumped up. I'm going to mark and reward her for that. I'm going to mark the jumping at first because I can finesse it later. All I want her to do is follow the lure. Understand that following the lure is something that I want because most of the time when our dogs jump, we don't want them to. And I still don't want my dogs jumping on me necessarily, but if I ask them to stand up on their hind legs, I want them to do that. Come on, get it. Come on. Yes, good girl. So you see she had better control that time. She jumped up, kind of did a little bit of popping, but she was much more, or I guess I should say much less animated in that behavior. Olive up. Yes, good girl. So she's starting to get this a little bit more. I actually don't feel like I need to put my arm out for her. I used to have to put my arm out. So I'm going to get a little bit ahead of myself here because I don't typically like to name a behavior until I love it. But for the sake of kind of showing you guys, same thing as Theo, I'm going to ask Olive, do you want to fight? And fight being her kind of verbal for the stand up on your hind legs, put up your dukes type of a behavior. Olive, you want to fight? Yes, good girl. So right now it's not perfect. She's kind of doing this, batting her arms in front of her behavior. That's fine, but I'm going to see if I can finesse it later. Olive, you want to fight? Yes, good girl. That was much better. She was actually kind of putting her paws up and not just whacking at me with her paws, which was very nice. Good girl, Ollie. You want to fight? You want to fight? Oh, yes. She was still jumping. I was trying to eliminate the jump, eliminate the swipe. But you know what, though? By the third time, she's standing up. She's jumping up. She's almost there. So I want to mark and reward her to keep her engaged with me. Keep her understanding that, yes, you're on the right track. You're not quite there yet. But I'm going to mark and reward it anyway. Ollie, you want to fight? Yes. Good girl. And you guys can't see it from your angle, but those wheels are turning. When she's up in the air, she's really thinking, she could be thinking, oh crap, I'm about to fall down. But it looks to me like she's thinking like, wait a minute, is this right? Am I getting it right? Am I going to get rewarded for this? Let me see if I can kind of turn her. Go get that, Olive. See if I can kind of turn her this way to you guys. All right, Olive, you want to fight? Yes. Good girl. Very good job. I'm holding my fists very high because I want my dogs to be putting their hands up in the air, kind of like that put them up, fighter style. Okay, Olive, let's fight. Yes, good girl. You guys see that she was getting much better about that kind of fight behavior there. So again, you guys can call this dance. Some people call it be a human, jazz hands, fight, whatever you want to call it. So that is what I call that behavior. I just tell my dogs, let's fight. You want to fight. Fight, of course, on its own being kind of the verbal cue for them to initiate that behavior. There's a method to my madness. There's a reason why I'm showing you guys this behavior first before I get into our second behavior that you've seen both Olive and Theo do. But let me just pause for questions real quick before I bring Theo back in. I guess I could work with Olive and then show you guys with Theo since he knows the behavior and Olive doesn't. I'm kind of, I guess, doing it backwards here. I'm showing you like the finished product and then I'm showing you the path there when I could just flip it around and do it the other way. All right, guys. So no questions so far. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on so that way I'm not taking up your entire Monday night here. All right. So the next behavior, I'm going to turn my camera down a little bit here. There we go. Look at Miss Olive. She's so beautiful. This little baby right here. Olive is actually my fearful dog. She's my dog who is just afraid of the whole world outside. But inside, she's a pretty good baby. Yeah, you come kiss. Thank you. So with that dance, jazz hands, fight behavior, I actually taught that to Theo first. And if you guys notice, his default check-in with me position is to sit. And so a couple times when I asked him to fight, he kept kind of like standing up like this in that beg or sit pretty behavior. Olive was doing that. If you guys rewind the video later on, she was kind of doing the same thing. And so by having my dog sit and me kind of getting ready and then thinking, ooh, you might ask me to fight, both of them kind of started to do this behavior. They're like, oh, hang on, like I kind of want to, lift my paws up. By teaching fight first, you could then teach beg or sit pretty later, and your dogs are already kind of understanding the concept of, maybe I should sit up, put my paws up, but stay sitting. Maybe I should try that. So with Olive, let me just see if I can get her kind of in a better position where she's more facing you guys. She's the type of dog, though, she's just going to do whatever it is that she wants to do because she's a very independent lady. So can you sit? Good girl, yes. So for the beg or sit pretty behavior, depending on the dog, you're either going to want to take your food and put it just above their head. So they've got to kind of lean back and lift up a paw, lift up two paws to get it. Or what you are going to want to do is go right into their chest where they're kind of leaning back. They're trying to eat it and they're leaning back. In the beginning, all you're going to look for criteria is a one paw or two paw lift. We're not going to get a full behavior immediately. And even if we do get a full behavior immediately, only aim for 5 repetitions per training session, because just like us, I do not, you guys can see, I do not have a 6-pack. I do not have abs. Well, I guess everybody has abs, but you know what I mean. So I do not have core strength whatsoever. And it's the same thing with our dogs. They're going to be stretching muscles and using muscles that they're not used to. So I do not want to get greedy trainer syndrome when luring my beg or sit pretty behaviors. So with Olive, I'm going to see if I can get her back up into that sit. I'm going to go just up over her head. Yes. She lifted up a paw because she was just trying to give me her paw because that was something that we learned recently. Remember, your dogs are always going to throw out their newest behavior. Okay, I'm going to lift up. Yes. Lift up over her head. I cut that sentence short because she did it. She lifted up those 2 paws. I'm going to see if I can get a better angle for you guys again here. Sit. Yes, that's a good sit. Paws on me, I don't want. Yeah. So I said yes. I cut my yes short because she did touch me. But you know what, though? I'm getting greedy. She doesn't know this as well as Theo does. So I want her, even if she's going to put her paws on me to balance that first, I'm going to be okay with that. Again, you can shape it and you can finesse it later. Shaping just means marking and rewarding increments of good all the way to the end. So, all right, Olive. Yes. Good girl. Good job. Get it, Polly. Get it. Yes. Good girl. She leaned back a little too far. You guys saw she had to kind of, jump up to get it there. Or she could have thought that my arm was high enough that she needed to jump up. Good job, honey bunny. Yes. Good girl. Yes. So you guys see she's getting this. So I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to get greedy trainer syndrome. I want for one more. Okay, let's do one more, honey bunny. Big one. Big one. You got it. Yes. Good girl. You got it. Good job. Yeah. Good girl. So lots of praise and petting that Olive doesn't necessarily care about because she's not a huge, you guys can see in her body language. She's like, Mama, why are you touching me right now? She definitely likes food and then toys and then praise and petting is last on her motivational list. She's not the biggest fan of petting. So I'm going to go ahead and get Theo to kind of show you guys what this finished behavior looks like here. All right, Fifi, come on in. Olive, let's go. Let's switch out. Good girl. Good switching. All right. You guys can tell that I switched out with these guys a lot. All right. So with Theo, he already knows this. And I didn't ever think to teach him sit pretty. I had a bulldog before this, and she wasn't necessarily the best when it came to sit pretty or beg. But with Theo, because I taught him fight, he would sit, and you guys saw it, he would sit, and then for whatever reason, instead of standing up and pushing off with his front legs to stand up, he would just sit and then use all of his back legs to like thrust up with, and his legs are jacked, his back legs, they are just muscular. You can't see it on camera, but he's a muscly man. So with Theo, though, I didn't necessarily have to lure him too much for him to get this behavior. So I'm just going to toss him a treat there, get him to kind of reset and come back to me. What I have for my verbal is pretty or sit pretty. And then my hand sign for this, so fight is the 2 kind of fists up in the air. Pretty. So my sit hand sign, as you guys already know from the previous video that I did with Theo, is palm up going up. pretty is adding in like little spirit fingers, like color in American Sign Language. So I'm going to ask Theo. He's already sitting. Theo, can you pretty? Pretty. Yes. That's kind of a weak pretty, but you know what? I was confusing him earlier, so I'm going to take it. Can you pretty? Yes, that's so pretty. Can you sit? And pretty. Very pretty. That's wave. He's so confused, guys, but that's okay. I'm not going to give him cookies for just trying. We've got to get something. Yes. We got to get something resembling sit pretty. All right, Fifi. Pretty. Yes, that's very pretty. This is a very cute one, especially right now for social distancing. I have a lot of kids, as you can imagine. I go to Bond Park, I get out of the car, and I hear, "A fire dog! Marshall!" Everyone's freaking out about, Paw Patrol, 101 Dalmatians, all of that. So we usually get a lot of children that are very excited. They want to rush up and meet him. He loves kids, so that's perfect. But having kind of hands-off behaviors like this, where you can ask, Theo, okay, can you wave? Yes, that's a very good boy. Very nice wave. He can wave to the children across the parking lot. Can you sit pretty? Yes, that's very pretty. And so you can do this at a distance and help your dogs understand that showing off for other people, even if those other people are squealy or scary or you can't really see them, you can still interact with them in a good way. Can you pretty? You guys can see he doesn't quite get right now that this is wave and this is pretty. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the back of my hand to him, so that there's a bigger differentiation between, the two different behaviors here. Can you sit? Pretty. Yes, that's very pretty. He already knew what I was going to ask him. Pretty. Yes, good boy. Very good job. All right, guys, I'm going to give Theo's abs a break. If you have any questions about these behaviors, type in the chat now. You can leave a comment later. We will be checking the comments, of course, as well. So let me go ahead and get my webcam set back up here. Ooh, sorry, guys. The sun is going down, so I'm losing a lot of the natural light coming through the windows. It's just all this artificial light right in my face here. So sorry about that. All right. I've got little Mr. Beggy Beggerson just waiting for cookies behind me. You want a scoop? Do you want a scoop? No? Do you want to wave goodbye to everybody? That's kind of pathetic, but I'll give it to you. Yes, good boy. Wave goodbye. Yes, that was a very good wave. Good job. All right, guys. Well, I'll go ahead and let you go. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.